change don't come to me.
Interesting. Wow. There's something that you did recently, and I want to make sure I'm getting the name correct. Was it the AXA brother, AXA sister
Yes. Mm-hmm.
workshop? Mm-hmm. That's interesting, and it shows that black unions, relationships are important to you because you did that in your personal time.
On my personal
That
time.
wasn't a professional thing. That was on your personal
Yep.
time.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the common themes that you see in African American marriages, relationships that tend to pop up, that you think are real issues that we are having? I'm sure we have tons of issues, but
Ooh, I would say a major one that I'm noticing, and it was a theme that kept coming up in the Ask a Brother, Ask a Sister. It comes up with who I see come to my office, even if they're dressed in the best outfit and pull up in the best car. I see the same thing. And what I'm noticing is black women are advancing at record speeds when it comes to their education, when it comes to moving up the career ladder, when it comes to their finances, the way they handle money, the way they save money, just the stuff that they're doing. They're surpassing a lot of black males. So there's something that is happening here, and I'm going to be bold enough to say whether it's intentional or unintentional, whether it is conscious or subconscious, there's an emasculation that's going on. You understand? And I see that as a common theme when you may not believe that you're emasculating your partner. And I'm just talking about the women right now because I got some stuff for the men that I see in the theme too.
Right.
But you don't believe that you are emasculating your partner, where in fact you are.
Yeah.
So when it gets to the point where he's pushing back against your system that isn't working and you're not willing to see it the other way, it's going to cause you to clash and have division within your relationship. That's from a lot that I see with women. It's not the only theme. That's one of the most common themes, right?
It's a big one.
It's a big
It's
one.
a big one.
It's a big one.
And then a second one that I see is a lot of men come into these relationships with a 1925 mindset. Don't work that way.
Polar opposite.
It's the polar opposite. You cannot have this relationship where you can't sustain the family on your own, meaning you can't pay the mortgage. You can't send the kids to college and pay their tuition. They go to private school on their own. You can't pay the car notes. You can't pay the light bill. You can't pay the telephone bills. You cannot give her allowance so she can go dress up and do all the things that needs to be done. You can't take your family on vacation. You can't do all of that on your own. So she's expected to work. But yet you wanted to come home, clean the house, wash the laundry, cook your food, sex you whenever you want it. It just doesn't work that way. There has to be a balance in a relationship. You can't say, no, you have to go to work because your money's important, and then you have to do all these things too. Doesn't work that way. She's going to push back against that because that's a system for her that doesn't work. And those are the themes I see coming in constantly.
So this emasculation of black men, where do you think it comes from? Because I definitely saw a marriage of close friends break up that way. Where, I mean, they had other issues.
Of
but
course.
the woman in the relationship, it was her home that they had moved into, that she had already purchased, and she was constantly telling the husband whenever they would get into an argument, this is my house, get out of my house. And so eventually he got out of her house.
And now she
and
in my
they're now
office crying.
divorced. And they're now divorced. Where do you think that this, because I'm wondering if the I really wonder if it's intentional, or if,
I don't
or
think
is
it's
it,
intentional.
or is it because women have gotten to the point, like you say, where they're advancing in these things and at rapid speeds, and they just have this notion that they can do things on their own, and if you're not going to be here, then I'm going to be okay.
And they will be okay, right? To some extent, they will be okay. I think when you ask me where does it come from, this emasculation, and I don't think it's intentional. I don't think women go out there like, let me get a man that I can just beat up and beat down and make him feel bad every day. I don't think they go into a relationship with that kind of mindset. But there's something generationally that's happening. And we call it intergenerational transmission of trauma, right? So basically, in layman's term, if I break that down, it's generational curses. So if you come from a family of matriarchs,
Right.
even if the man is in the house,
Right.
if you come from a family of matriarchs, and this tacit message gets passed to you constantly. Don't you depend on no man to do nothing. You don't need a man to do anything. You go out there because you never know he gonna leave you, and you better be able to survive on your own. Don't have no man boss you around. You ain't nobody's slave girl. You smart, you strong, you educated. You ain't built to stay home and do dishes and wash clothes. That message gets passed down. And if it doesn't verbally get passed down, you see it with how your parents engage and interact with each other, or how they resolve conflict. If mom is going off like a 10-day alarm clock and then he just leaves the house, right? So what message is that set up? What message are you receiving, even if it's not verbal? And we don't even realize how much we turn around and do the same things our mothers have done, our grandparents have done, our aunts have done. We don't think that way. It gets passed down constantly. So if you take it all the way back to slavery, how was the black man treated? You're absolutely right. He would be beat in front of the women. He would be lynched in front of the women. He would be talked to like he
in front of women.
And he would be watched for his woman to be raped in front of him. So there was so much psychological damage that goes on. And I tell people all the time, if we are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome, what do you think the people that came from the other side is suffering from? Meaning the people who come from a lineage of slave owners. That emasculation is still there. So he leaves and he goes into society, and society says, you ain't worth nothing. Then he comes home and she says, you ain't worth nothing. And then the children say, you ain't worth nothing. It's intergenerational. So we have to break that cycle. It's a dangerous, poisonous cycle that continuously goes on. And many of us are not aware of it. It's in our subconscious and we don't even realize it's happening. So we keep perpetuating it constantly.
Wow. I'm scared to ask you what's the number 2 theme after that.
But that's just my opinion, you know?